Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another gentle yoga class on Monday. Well, my Monday. Happy whatever day you might be watching this. And today we will get to a little bit of everything body-wise. In a moment, we will ground and do some breathing and just consciously settling in. And then get into a little bit of a warm up, try to target some of the more tense areas of the body, like the shoulders, the hips, legs, hamstrings, lower back. And then we'll slow things down with a few restorative poses at the end where we're just really looking to soften and kind of let the body soak up the support that we have. So that's the notion that I'd like for all of us to take with us into this practice today, is that notion of support creates release. So really practicing just leaning into the support systems and the resources of support that you already have within yourself, just using this practice as a place to strengthen those resources of support. So what I mean when I say support systems and resources, so in this class, support will come in a few different forms. Support could come in the form of any props that you might be using. So not being afraid to kind of luxuriate in the thought of using some props rather than really pushing the body to go deeper. Let the props support the body and just release into what feels comfortable. Support will also come in the form of your breath, just staying connected to an inhale and an exhale. And the support comes in the form of your mindset as well. So like how present you're able to stay in your practice, and how kind of strengthening the practice of coming back when the mind starts to pull us away as well. And then support comes in little ways too, like use the restroom if you need to use the restroom. I mean, if you're watching this later, you can just like press pause and come on back. And just a couple other ways that support comes in here is some of the shapes that we get into can be really supportive for the body, and just the container that you create for yourself, and carving out the time and setting yourself up and giving yourself this time. So again, the theme and what I'd like for all of us to soak up in this practice today is to surrender, to soften into the support systems that you have here, rather than pushing extra hard. Okay? And you can always email me if you have any special requests for a class. I think we might also be kind of shifting the schedule around a little bit on Mondays, making it a little bit later in the day, at least Pacific Standard Time a little bit later, and have some other couple more exciting new things to add to this whole community here. So yeah, feel free to email me if you have any questions, special requests at embracewonderyoga@gmail.com. We'll go ahead and get started. So you can find your way into either a comfortable seated or lying down shape. Whatever you think would be most comfortable for you to focus on your breath. Feeling free to use any props that you might have close by, the more the merrier. Feel free to get creative with couch cushions and whatever you might have. If you're sitting, you might roll your shoulders back a few times. And if you're lying down, just maybe tuck the shoulders underneath you a little bit more. Bringing your awareness and your attention to the system of your breath. Breathing in, breathing out, through the nose or the mouth, whichever feels right for you when you go to take a breath. Starting to soften the body, even here, softening the eyes, softening the jaw. Noticing if there's anywhere else in the body that you could just let go a little bit more. Breathing in and breathing out. Starting to notice how your breath feels right now. Is it smooth? Is it rough? Is it even? Is it jagged? Are the inhales longer than the exhales, or the other way around, or something in between? Noticing how the body moves and shifts a little bit with each breath, feeling a little bit of rising on the inhale, releasing through the exhale, feeling the rib cage expand with an inhale, soften through an exhale. Offering up a little breathing exercise today called the matching breath, where we're trying to match the length of our inhale to the length of the exhale, trying to get them to be the same count. So you could keep count in your mind, or you could even tap an index finger to keep count. And you might start with a count of 4 or 6 or 8 or 10, just depending on your lungs and how fast you count. So just starting with a count of 4 here, we can inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And you can do a few more. Feel free to take it up to 6 or 8 or 10. And this breath helps to balance the right and left sides of the brain, and then helping to balance the whole body. Also helps to calm the nervous system. So we'll do another round or two of this matching breath. You might notice if you need to slow things down on the inhale or the exhale, or speed things up to get them to match. One more breath in and out. And then let it go and just take some gentle breaths. For a moment, just imagine as you breathe in and breathe out, giving yourself all the space that you need from the day and everything you've got going on. Imagine setting the to-do list and projects down, giving yourself all the space that you need for your time on the mat here today. Taking a few breaths, imagining grounding now, settling in here and now a little bit more. Starting to feel more connected to the breath, body, the mind, the heart. Another deep breath, grounding all the way into this time that you've carved out for yourself and your practice. And then maybe joining me in setting an intention for your time here. Maybe something that the body needs, that the mind needs, that the heart needs. Something to receive, something to release and let go of, or even just something to remember, keep in mind. Calling intentions into practice with one more big deep breath in, big deep breath out. Inhaling to reach the arms up high overhead. Exhaling, moving the hands and fingers around and slowly back down to the side. Feeling free to turn to your favorite side if you're lying down, or slowly up to a seat from there. And if you've been seated, unfolding the legs, folding over them, maybe twisting a little bit side to side. And then slowly making your way forward into a tabletop pose on the hands and the knees. Feeling free to bring a blanket under the hands or the knees if you need one. Inhaling as the front body opens, cow pose. Exhaling as the back body opens, cat pose. Moving forward through the inhale. Rounding back through the exhale. Doing a couple more rounds, trying to now match your movements with your breath. Similarly to the matching breath that we did, the breathing exercise. When we let the breath lead the way and move the body with the breath, it also brings balancing effects to the brain and the body. Listening to how your body feels, starting to notice more of what it might need in your practice. And then adding on to your cat and cow movements in little ways that feel good to you, rocking hips side to side. Pulling back to a child's pose. Rocking forward towards a little bit more of a back bend. Circling around and getting to a little bit of everything. We've been doing some barrel rolls with the body where we're inhaling ribs over to one side. Then through cow pose as the heart lifts, ribs to the other side. Exhaling cat pose as the spine rounds. Circling the torso in this way. Moving in both directions. And then slowly back to a child's pose. Sending hips towards the heels, arms can be forward or back or somewhere in between. Reconnecting to the breath, moving in and out. Excuse me, a little cold in my room down here, and I think it makes my throat a little tickly. So, we're in child's pose and really trying to notice how we inhale and the back body opens a little bit. And as we exhale, the front body softens a little bit. And then slowly moving into a downward facing dog. Sending the hips high, grounding through the hands and the feet. Feeling free to take a little bend in the knees to lengthen through the torso and the shoulders a little bit more. Adding in any favorite downward dog movement, shifting hips a little side to side. Maybe 3-leg dog if that feels good in your body. One or two more breaths in downward dog. Inhaling into a forward fold, letting the head and hands fold over the legs. Feeling free to grab opposite elbows and sway a little bit side to side. With the next inhale, floating to a half forward fold. Heart forward, shoulders back, back body strong. Exhaling as we fold back over the legs. Inhaling all the way up to standing, reaching the arms out and high up overhead with a deep breath. Exhaling as the hands lower. Inhale, grow tall through the crown of the head. Exhale as you anchor your legs and your feet down. Inhale, lift and reach arms up. Exhale, forward fold through the heart. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale, fold. We'll inhale, taking a big step back with the right foot and lower the right knee down to a low lunge. You're welcome to slide a blanket underneath the right knee or even use blocks. Good, so low lunge, we're sending the left knee forward, the hips sinking forward and down. We increase the stretch by lifting the body up. So even just a little lift through the heart can sometimes do the trick. But you are welcome to take the hands to the knee, overhead or open. We'll take another breath like this. And then the hands could either stay reaching up, or you could bring them to the blocks for more support. We'll stomp into the front left foot to lift out of the bend in the knee a little bit, trying to get the leg muscles to kind of lift us out of the shape. If the arms are overhead, we're lifting them up. As we exhale, bending the knee into maybe opening the elbows out to the sides. Or feeling free to keep your hands on the blocks. We'll inhale, lift out of the shape a little bit. Arms are lifting. Exhaling to lunge back forward. Inhaling to lift up. Exhaling forward. If the back knee needs a little bit more support, you can tuck the toes under. Inhaling up. Exhale forward. Last one, inhaling up. Exhale, open. Lowering the hands down, sending the hips up and back to half splits. So walking your hands or your blocks back, straightening as much as you can through the left leg, although it's okay to have some bend in the knee. Lengthening through the spine with a deep breath in. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Exhaling to fold, heart towards the knee. Inhale, lengthen a little bit. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Holding the stretch for a moment here. We can deepen this stretch by bending at the elbows, lowering the blocks, or taking hands to the mat. Feeling free to point the toes down, stretching through the top of the foot, the ankle. Breathing to the back of the left leg, outside of the hip. One more breath. Inhaling back forward, just enough so that you can bring your left knee back to meet the right. Coming into a child's pose, variation of your choice. Feel free to move your blanket off to the side. Breathing in and breathing out. Softening back into the breath a little bit more, a little bit more. With the next inhale, moving into downward facing dog or holding child's pose for a few more breaths. We'll take about 3 deep downward dog breaths. Inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, grounding. One more deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhaling to walk back forward into a forward fold. Exhaling as the body folds over the legs. Inhaling to a half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Rounding through the feet. Inhaling all the way up with a deep breath at the top. Exhaling as hands lower down. Find a breath here. So we're inhaling to grow tall. Exhaling to anchor down. Inhaling to lift and reach up. Exhaling forward through the heart. Take a breath here. Inhaling half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Using blocks or hands down, we'll take a big step back with the left foot this time. Lowering the left knee down for a low lunge. Maybe sliding a blanket or a pillow underneath the knee that needs extra support. And you're welcome to use blocks here too to just give the body more space and offering some stability here. So if that back knee still needs more support, sometimes tucking the toes under can help. Pressing into the right foot, we can start to lift the body up to deepen, or you're welcome to keep the hands low. We might reach up overhead. And then pressing into the right foot even more to start lifting out of the bend in the front knee. Exhaling as you open your elbows out to the side and lunge the knee back forward. Inhaling to lift out of the shape, arms over. Exhaling to lower back into it. Inhaling to lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We'll do one more. Letting the leg muscles lead the way. Lowering the hands if they're lifting. Inhaling back to half splits. Walking hands or our blocks back with us so that the hands are still about underneath the shoulders. We don't want to have to reach too far forward or too far off to the side for our blocks or our fingertips. So we're lengthening through the spine here with an inhale. Exhaling to fold heart towards the knee. We'll do a couple more like that. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to fold. One more. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to fold. Holding the stretch for a moment. Feeling free to deepen by bending at the elbows. Lowering the blocks or bringing your hands to the mat. One or two more breaths. Inhaling to lift up. Exhaling to rock back forward just enough to bring the right knee back beneath the left. Moving into child's pose. Moving step out of the way if you need to. And hips could be high or low. Arms can reach forward or back or somewhere in between. Inhaling to back body. Exhaling to soften through front body. Even setting anything down that feels stuck on from the day, from the week, anything that you feel like you really just need to let go of. Setting it down with a deep breath in, exhaling to just let it go, set it down. The yoga practice, yoga mat, wash it all away. Inhaling to a downward facing dog or holding child's pose. Inhaling to lift into downward dog. Exhaling as you ground into a nice long shape through the torso, through the shoulders. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhaling back into a forward fold. Folding the body over the legs. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Rounding through the feet. Inhaling all the way up with a big deep breath up at the top. Exhaling as the hands lower down. Inhaling to grow tall through the crown of the head. Exhale, anchoring the legs and the feet. Inhale, arms reaching up. Exhale, folding through the heart first. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale the right foot back. Low lunge. Inhale, left knee back. Child's pose. Inhaling up through tabletop. Exhaling to lower the body all the way down to the front body. As if you were going to prep for a cobra pose. And we'll do a few just to help warm up the back body here. Getting it to move in the opposite direction of kind of folding, like what we do when we sit. So we're inhaling the chin, the chest, and the shoulders up. Letting the back muscles lead the way. You might even float the legs up here for a little bit more. And even the arms out or back behind you. One more breath. Exhaling as the hands lower down. And we'll turn the right ear down to the mat, or you could even bring it to a pillow or a blanket. We'll let the right arm open out to the side, the palm facing down. Bending at the left knee, we'll pick the left leg up and over towards the right side of the mat. The toes might touch the ground a little bit, or you might deepen more with the foot a little bit closer to the body, to your right leg, knee pointing up. Breathing into the front of the right shoulder, chest. One more breath there. Slowly back to neutral on the front body. Switching sides, drawing the right arm in. Left arm out to the side. Bending at the right knee, picking the right leg up and over, keeping the right hand where it is for support, not turning it into a tug of war. It doesn't have to be the very deepest stretch you can get into here. Just trying to get things to open up in a gentle manner. One more breath. Slowly unwinding back to center. Drawing the left hand in. And moving on to forearms into a Sphinx pose. With the elbows underneath the shoulders, kind of pulling the heart forward. Drawing the right knee out to the side for half frog pose. Targeting the stretch at the front of the right hip joint, the right inner leg muscle. And then we'll float the right arm up just enough to thread the left arm under. Left ear will start to make its way down. We're opening the right arm up, and we'll let the right hip and the right knee slide with us into a nice open twist. Breathing down the spine, into lower back, into chest, into shoulders. One or two more breaths on this side. And slowly bringing the right arm back to meet the left. The right leg back to meet the left. Moving back onto the forearms. Switching sides to draw the left knee out to the side, half frog. Breathing to the front of the left hip joint, the inner leg muscles. One more breath here. And floating the left arm up just enough to thread the right arm under. Right ear will start to make its way down. We're swinging the left arm open, but taking the left hip and the left knee with us so that we can open out to the side. Breathing into your tight spots. Deep breaths to shoulders, chest, lower back, hips. One or two more breaths here. Slowly bringing the left arm back to meet the right. The left leg back to meet the right. Inhaling back onto the forearms into a Sphinx pose. Exhaling, letting the arms, the elbows kind of unfold, making a little pillow for your head with your hands. Bending at the knees, and windshield wipering the feet a little bit side to side. Slowly lowering the feet back down. Pausing here for a moment. Just let the body breathe on the mat. Breathing into front body now. Feeling the breath move the body against the ground, against your mat, against the earth. Let the legs relax, let the feet relax. Let the ankles kind of open up to the sides like they like to do. Just breathe here for a moment. One or two more breaths. Sliding the hands back behind the shoulders. Inhaling back to a child's pose. Any variation. Sending deep breaths to the lower back, to the hips. One more deep breath. Inhaling up through tabletop pose. And we'll get set up for first restorative, kind of longer, more relaxing shape to hold for a little bit longer. We'll get to a hip opener with pigeon pose. So we'll send the right knee forward towards the right wrist, ankle towards the left wrist. The left knee's lowering down, scooting the left leg back, deepening the stretch as we go. And if you want to add in props here, you could start with adding a folded blanket or a pillow or even a block underneath the right hip. Or you're welcome to make this shape easier in a few different variations. So you could work on with the same shape but with a half pigeon. So taking that back leg up to meet the front. And so the legs are almost in two kind of 90-degree angles. And then we're folding heart towards the ankle to get that stretch. Or you could even get the same exact stretch on the spine with a figure 4 shape, with the right ankle crossing over the left knee, legs hugging in towards the body. Always listening to the knee joint and feeling free to back off if the leg starts to fall asleep or if the knee gets really tight. And feeling free to add props underneath you or even out in front of you. As you settle in, just notice how the hips are feeling. They're super tight, or if you don't feel much of a stretch here, just notice how the body feels in this shape. Notice where your tight spots are. And get to a place where you can let your breath come in to move some stuck energy around from the body. So as we inhale, really sending that spacious expansion breath into the right hip space. As we exhale, trying to let go of some tension, tightness, just releasing, even letting go of what we no longer need. Just what is not serving the system any longer can let go here. Making room for that next healing, spacious breath to find its way in. Taking a handful more slow, deep breaths here. Inhaling space. Exhaling tension. Softening into our support systems of the breath, of our props, of the shape, and letting ourselves just be here now. Really allowing the body to soak up the wisdom of the practice here. Taking about 5 more slow, deep breaths on this side. As you feel ready, slowly helping yourself up with a deep breath, or unwinding with a deep breath. And then we'll counter stretch to bring circulation back to both legs. Some people like to shift that leg back behind them, in tabletop, or in downward facing dog. Some people prefer to shake their legs out in front of them, especially if you were in that figure 4 shape. That might be a better option. Feet side to side, knees side to side. And then checking in with your body for a moment before moving to the other side, noticing maybe if that side needs a different shape, a different variation, more props or less props. And going for either a traditional pigeon pose, perhaps with a prop underneath the left hip, right leg extended back, maybe a second prop out in front of us to lower onto, or maybe a half pigeon, taking that back knee up to meet, looking for these 90-degree angles, still folding heart towards me there. Or a reclined pigeon to really take pressure off the back knee and just get into a more comfortable shape overall. So choosing your variation, getting things in the right place as best you can with what you have. Being gentle and easy with the body. It's not always about how much we stretch or how far we go. I always tell people that there's a lot that happens behind the scenes in the body when we are a little bit more gentle. And just softening into those support systems here, the breath as a tool for release in the body. Inhaling space and expansion into the hip space. Exhaling to let go of tension. Let go of tightness. Letting go of anything that's not serving the system here and now. Just let go here without even having to identify anything. Just that intention of releasing what I no longer need. And then making room for that healing next inhale to find its way in. Inhaling space, healing energy. Exhaling tension, tightness, and what we no longer need. Taking about 5 more slow, deep breaths on this side. As you feel ready, helping yourself up with an inhale. Slowly coming out of the shape, counter stretching, either sending legs back behind you, shaking them out a little bit, or shaking legs out in front of you a little bit side to side. Move into the opposite shape for the hips. So we'll target the front of the hip joints and we'll set ourselves up with whatever we might have. And if you don't have props, that's okay too. But maybe a little bit of something for the upper back. So it could be a bolster, could be your blocks, could be even just a light blanket or pillow underneath the upper back. Flip the upper back so that the shoulders can spill over the edge of it. And then the soles of the feet together, knees apart. And in the spirit of support creates release, you might place blocks underneath your knees or blankets or pillows underneath your knees. Letting the arms open up. Moving into a more opening shape for the body, counter stretching from the shape and the rounding that we were just in. Again, just first noticing how the body feels as it settles in here, and which areas of the body feeling the stretch. Tuning back into the rising and releasing of the breath. The lungs have a little bit more room to breathe, so we can take deeper breaths in and deeper breaths out. Softening into the support system. Breath, cross, shape. Inviting all of the support that you have to offer the release and the restore that you need. Taking a few more slow, deep breaths in this shape. Bringing little movements back into the fingers, toes, drawing the knees together. Maybe rocking the knees just a little bit side to side. And turning over to your favorite side. Taking a few more slow, gentle breaths there. Inhaling slowly on up to a seat. Switching things up to offer the lower back a little bit of support here as we lay down on the back body. So you could bring a folded or even a rolled up blanket that when you roll it up, it brings it up a little bit higher underneath the knees. Or if you have a bolster, you can use a bolster or a pillow. Or if you have blocks, you could change this up even a little bit more for the lower back into a Stonehenge shape. So the two blocks are kind of close together on whichever height feels stable to you. And then the bolster over top. The legs up over the bolster. You could keep the legs just kind of hanging over, or you could stay with more of a bound ankle pose type shape. And the blanket, if you have other props, could go under the head or the neck or under the lower back. It's kind of supplementing with any props that you might have. Adjusting and feeling free to change things up if the first option doesn't feel quite right. Just noticing how the body feels as it starts to settle in. Your hands might rest on the body or open at your sides. Softening the body here, softening the eyes, softening the jaw. Letting your thoughts focus on the rising and releasing of the breath. Noticing where the body touches the ground and just setting the body down. Noticing if there's anywhere else in your body that you could let go and soften, relax a little bit more. Giving ourselves all the permission that we need here to move away from the need of doing, effort, and trying, and fixing. Allowing the support that we have to give us the release and restore that we need. Giving ourselves these brief moments of freedom in our lives, where we have the time and the space to let ourselves just be with the breath, to just be with the body. Releasing and softening, letting go. A little bit more and a little bit more. One deep breath at a time, softening more. Surrendering our thoughts back to the breath, back to the here and the now, over and over again. Starting to deepen your breath back into your body more and more. With these deeper breaths, bringing slow, small movements back into the fingers, toes, arms, legs. Reaching long overhead with a deep breath, or even just gently side to side. Drawing the knees in towards the body, and then slowly to your favorite side. Slowly drawing up to a seated shape, letting the head come up slow, using arms and hands for support. Coming into any comfortable shape to close our practice today. Sitting however you like with your arms, your legs, your hands. Finding your breath again once you've found your seat. Checking back in with the system of our bodies, minds, and hearts. Noticing how things are feeling now, and if anything has shifted throughout our time here today. Remembering any intentions we may have called in, and knowing that we're working towards that, consciously or not. Inviting you to take a little bow to yourself, giving yourself thanks and gratitude for carving out this time for practice and self-care. Honoring the teacher within each of us here, all the teachers who came before us, all the teachers yet to come, and our practice here together today. Namaste. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. Again, like I said at the beginning, you are welcome to email me at Embrace Wonder Yoga if you have any questions or special requests. And I also mentioned that we might be changing the time of this class to be a little bit later, Pacific Standard Time on Mondays. But next Monday, class will be moved to Wednesday afternoon. So I'll be sending an email out to everybody to kind of give you that the timing that we decide on for Mondays, and then how it will be moved to Wednesday and what time for next week. This Friday's class at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time will also be moved. Actually, just kidding. No, it's not going to be moved. It will still be Friday at 9 a.m. Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for being here, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day today, whether it's evening or morning, wherever you go. Just take your practice with you, and remember that you have these support systems within that you can soften and surrender into anytime you need them. See you next time.